What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another War Within video. Hope you're all doing really well. Let's look at Frost DK once again. I want to do an actual video that has Frost DK in a Mythic Plus dungeon. This is pretty important, I think, for this whole testing process, just to check out how the damage is kind of looking. And yes, we are going to be dual wielding again. The whole point of a lot of my testing with Frost DK has been to test if dual wielding is a thing that exists again in the War Within. We haven't had dual wielding Frost DK in years. I don't even know, maybe since Legion, actually, when they had the artifact weapons. I think, like, you know, the two-handed obliterate build has just been the best because of the Might of the Frozen Waste passive, which of course increases obliterate's damage. So why dual wielding, Zuko? Like, what does that get for us? Well, at a baseline level, you're trading the 30% obliterate damage that you could normally get from a two-handed weapon, and you've moved some of that damage bonus instead into your auto attacks and into procs that you're getting off your auto attacks. So for example, the new lines of talents here start with Smothering Offense. You get 6% more auto attack damage, and your Icy Veins can stack 2 more times. If you're playing Rider of the Apocalypse, which I did here, your Icy Veins can go up to 5. Now, if you play Deathbringer, your Icy Veins can go up to 7, but it's neither here nor there. 5 is good enough. 6 times 5 is 30, so we're getting 30% more attack speed from Icy Talons, and then our auto attack damage is going up, and then we're also getting this proc from Icy Death Torn. Your auto attack critical strikes have a chance to send out a sleet of ice. So the idea here is that we're trading that 30% obliterate damage, and we're going to move it into our auto attacks. And that has a couple different purposes. One is, of course, these procs I'm talking about and the damage. And the second one is that Runic Attenuation makes our auto attacks have a chance to generate more runic power. So there's a very good chance that we'll get way more runic power with this build than if we're doing a two-hander, okay? In the footage I'm going to show you here, I did a Mist of Tyrannus Scythe. I ran Rider of the Apocalypse, and I did it with this build. So the major points that you need to understand if you're doing Rider of the Apocalypse is we're doing our auto attack stuff. I'm doing Frost Strike as my runic power spender, okay? Frost Strike, because it has a chance to consume Razor Ice, and then that Razor Ice can explode. We are getting Razor Ice from 2 sources, okay? We're getting it, one, from consuming Killing Machine. We get a Glacial Advance that's going to fire through enemies. I'm not even taking Glacial Advance, okay? I'm using Frost Strike instead of Glacial Advance. So that Frost Strike is exploding for AoE damage, and whenever we consume Killing Machine with Obliterate, we get a Glacial Advance anyway, okay? The second source of Razor Ice is coming from the fact that we're dual wielding. We get to do Rune of the Fallen Crusader and Rune of Razor Ice instead of just one Rune of the Fallen Crusader. So that's the additional bonus that we get for dual wielding versus the two-handed Obliterate build, right? The other key points of this build are Frostworm's Fury and Absolute Zero. You need to have the cooldown reduction on this, because when you press Frostworm's Fury, you get Apocalypse Now triggering. That is going to summon all of your 4 horsemen at the same time, which is really good. And then Frost Scythe is our mini cooldown that we're trying to use inside of our Pillar of Frost window, but you're going to use this outside of Pillar of Frost as well, because consuming a Killing Machine reduces the cooldown of Frost Scythe. So if you don't know, Frost Scythe does not consume Killing Machine. It has no interaction with Killing Machine anymore. It just always crits, and it always does 4 times the normal damage, but it has a cooldown now. So it's a great little mini cooldown. So those are the big parts of the build, okay? We're Frost Striking. We're never pressing Glacial Advance. Glacial Advance is getting pressed for us. We're having these exploding Frost Strikes, which is really good. We've got our big Frostworm's Fury, and we have our little Frost Scythe mini cooldown. And then we're running Rider of the Apocalypse. That is kind of how this goes, okay? And we'll take a look at it here. This was on stream, so I'm talking a little bit. If you guys have not checked out the stream, I would highly encourage you to do so. Twitch.tv/ZukoVibes. Come check it out. We've had 40, 50 people every night for the last week or so. We're just absolutely having a blast over there. And I'm just going through all kinds of different specs and classes on the beta. And I'm just playing whatever chat wants me to play. So we've done so many tests, which has been a lot of fun. Here's my opening damage here. We're doing about 1.8 million with our opening Frostworm's Fury. All the horsemen are out. One of the horsemen, of course, gives you Death and Decay, which is really nice. And you get additional Death and Decay cooldown reduction from this tree, so it's really good for AoE. Like, even if you weren't doing a dual wielding build, like let's say you want to do a two-handed oblit build, It works very well here because you get this additional cooldown reduction on Death and Decay. You always have Death and Decay down, basically, with this tree, which means your AoE cleaving is always happening with Obliterate. So that is really great. And I think it just gives you this really good quality of life. The damage that is coming from the riders themselves was really surprising to me. It just recently got buffed, actually. All the Rider of the Apocalypse dudes got buffed in terms of their individual damage contributions about a week ago. They got buffed significantly. So I'm not sure if they're going to need a nerf now. I hope not, because that would just be kind of weird because Blizzard already buffed them. But my God, they actually contribute a substantial amount of damage now, on top of the fact that they're giving you more utility. They're giving you like a strength bonus and the extra AoE from Death and Decay. So it's really good. Our damage is just like consistently good. Oh yeah, we had a big fatal error there. It's the beta. This stuff happens. We have to run back. In terms of mists, you can still get the buffs actually from like the flower area here, and you can walk through the vine doors. I don't know if that's because we had like a natural person in here. Like we didn't have any like night fae people in here, but we did have a druid. I'm wondering if it was because it's a druid, he's able to like get through the walls, or if Blizzard has just gotten rid of the whole vine wall thing. It seems like they've just gotten rid of it. I think I didn't see anybody standing there channeling on any of the doors. So to me, I'm pretty sure that anybody can just go through it. These little dual mini bosses here, these are pretty nasty. This is just fortified, so it's a +3 key, which again is kind of like a +13 of old school. So it's actually significant. We're under geared for this for sure. The gear gets capped in Mythic Plus right now on the beta. So I'm 580. We're all 580 item level. It doesn't matter what you had before you got into this dungeon. You're going to get scaled up or down to 580. Now, you can have additional procs and stuff from trinkets, but I didn't really equip a lot of those. I just wanted to try and get a baseline. I think I have one special trinket on, but it didn't even contribute that much damage. I'm trying to get a real baseline feel for like what can Rider of the Apocalypse Dual Wielding Frost DK actually produce on its own. And what I've seen, guys, in this dungeon is very encouraging. This is the first boss, Ingra Maloch. If you remember this boss, you need to DPS down the big tree guy first, the guy doing Bewildering Pollen. I'm actually hitting Maloch here for some... I don't know why. I'm an idiot. I'm lost a bunch of damage here, I think. I don't know why I'm hitting him. I forgot how this fight works. But you have to hit the tree and get the tree really low first. And then the tree will like mind control the other guy. And then you'll be able to DPS the other guy. So you can see we're getting pretty close. Here it is right there. I guess I don't want to skip it here. You get him down to like, what, 15%? There it is right there. He jumps. He turns good. And then he mind controls the other guy. And then you have a DPS window. A big DPS window here. So there's like a debuff on this guy. I forget what it is down here, but he takes way more damage. I think it's double damage when he's in this state. So you want to try and save some of your cooldowns if you can. I think I get a second Frostworm's Fury off on the latter part of this fight. Let's go near the end here. So we start DPSing the tree down again, and we get him down below, and then boom, he mind controls. Oh, I don't actually get one off. Okay, I just get a big Obliterate window off. That's all. Unfortunate. I do get a Frost Scythe in here. Maybe at the very end. No. Okay. But look at our damage. Look at our damage on the boss fight, guys. This is basically single target. There's a little bit of cleave going on there, but I'm telling you, the Maloch guy doesn't... I mean, we get the damage boost, so we're getting a little bit, it's a little amplified there, and it just is what it is. But the bottom line is the damage is crazy from Frost DK. I think this build actually works. From all the numbers that I've seen, I know it's all going to get tweaked because this is beta. I understand that. But my point is simply to say, I've looked at all the different specs, a lot of them anyway, like 80% of them at this point. And I can tell what a really good baseline DPS level is going to be, regardless of like buffs or nerfs. And Frost DK is definitely on the higher end of that. It's doing very, very well. And I think that realistically, it might receive a small nerf heading into the live patch by the time the expansion goes live. But like, that's it. I think it's going to be fine. Its damage is really, really good. I get a debuff here. We just I don't have AMS up. I think I pop. I don't even pop Icebound Fortitude. I just Death Strike. We just Death Strike. We're doing 170k HPS, man. Death Knights are so crazy, dude. And this is like, this has been one of my candidates for my main. I've had a lot of people ask me, "What Zuko? What are you maining in the War Within?" The more I try these different specs out, the less I know what I want to play, because I'm just constantly impressed. Like Survival Hunter just got a big rework. It's amazing. It feels fun. It is just like, oh my god, it's so much fun to play. They have really good utility. They have really good defenses now. I play Frost Death Knight and I'm invincible 24/7, and it's doing a lot of damage now, and I have additional utility for the group. Like I can give anti-magic shells to my whole group now, which is really cool. And I have good CC with, like, I can death grip straggler enemies into the pack to increase our damage. Like, oh my god, it's just amazing. I don't know. I play my shaman and I'm just slapping dudes with lightning. Even we did a totemic build last night on stream and it was actually good. We did this crazy kind of physical totemic build. Like, I don't know. By the way, just really quickly, the tank is not moving this guy out of his pool. He just full healed inside this pool. He just full healed. Look at his health. Look at his health before he puts, he's at half health. He puts Pool of Radiance down and ding, 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 ding. The tank did not understand that this was a mechanic, so it's pretty funny. I played Fury Warrior, Mountain Thane Fury Warrior, felt really fun to me. Colossus Arms Warrior is still like one of my favorites. It's been one of my favorites. It still is. It's so crazy strong. I think I died of Bucking Rampage here. Oh no, it's close. We're trying to do some damage here. I get my big breath. There we go. Not up to 1 million, but once we get some cleaves going, this is kind of hard because there's all the Bucking Rampages. Now I think I'm dead here. Do I die here? This is an example of how OP Death Knight is. I don't think I die here. I'm just death straight. Oh no, I do. Never mind. Well, we survived for a while. Okay. We did one Frostworm's Fury there and it did 5 million damage. My Glacial Advance almost did 5 million damage. I don't even have Glacial Advance talented. I'm just getting it for free. That's how much damage that does in AoE. Are you kidding me? Yeah, guys, like Warlock is popping off. It's not my favorite spec, but it's doing crazy amounts of damage. It's definitely popping off. My Feral Druid run that I just did recently was actually good, even though it felt terrible to play. Like I was giga starved on resources. Like the damage was actually there. I did Wildstalker Feral Druid. Guys, I have no idea like what I'm gonna play for my main because there's so many good choices. There's just so many good choices. This is Mistcaller. I remember this boss fight. She has almost as cringe of a voice line as Chromie, if you can believe that. I think Chromie's actually a little bit worse. But the original cringe voice line was this Mistcaller boss fight. I'm not going to turn the volume up so you can hear it because I just don't want to overload you with too much cringe. But this is actually a pretty fun fight. You have to do the guessing game. You have to figure out which one of these shapes is not like the others. You're going to look around. There'll be 4 shapes and they'll all have something in common. 3 of them will have something in common. 1 of them won't. And that's what you have to figure out, like which one it is. So in this particular case, you can see this is a solid picture. This is solid and this is solid. And then this one is empty. It doesn't have any solid coloring on the inside. So this is the common thing here. And then this is the outlier. So you have to kill the outlier if you're wondering how to do this fight. Actually pretty cool. And then oh yeah, whoops, she spawns these little frozen foxes and it will fixate somebody, and you have to either permanently crowd control these or DPS them down without getting frozen. What you do not want to do is this. You don't want to give them like a big hug because it freezes everybody and you're bound to just like die. And then yeah, you just don't want to do that, guys. Don't do that. I don't know what I was thinking. I think I thought I could just give the fox a big hug and everything would be fine, but that was not fine. Oh, also, we had to tank this for a little while. Look at this. You know what I hated about this boss fight the most? The voice line. Right, so the tank's dead. I didn't know this. I hated about this fight the most. I start getting autoed. I'm like, oh. We're tanking. We're tanking. Okay, I understand. I didn't know what was going on. This is what Death Knight can do. Look at me. Oh yeah, I can B-res, you're right. I can B-res and I'm just tanking. I took a patty cake to the face. That's a big DPS ability. We're fine. Guys, Death Knight's crazy, dude. Death Knight is crazy. Into the final section here. This has got all the slugs and bugs. Oh, you can also get the checkpoints. You can get the checkpoints if you're like a druid or somebody who does like nature stuff. I don't exactly know the stipulations, but you can still get the checkpoints, which is cool. I think this is a really long sequence that doesn't go well, if I remember correctly. He pulls a lot of stuff together here. I'm just AMSing the damage that I'm taking. My AMS shield just wore off. There we go. I just AMS that whole thing. think I'm just gonna do a big Frostworm's Fury here. I should have waited, I guess, but I'm just dying here, so I'm death striking. There's two important kicks here. You want to get the shield that the bug does, and then you want to get the regeneration that the bugs do. It's the same bug that does both casts. But the Acid Nova is what kept wrecking us. Look at that Acid Nova. That does. Here's the regeneration, stimulated regeneration. You got to kick both of those. But the Acid Nova was really just taking us out to lunch. It was insane how much damage that was doing. There goes our healer. Yeah, it's a tough sequence here. We die a lot. It's the hero tree. Oh yeah, look at this. This is what hunters are doing right now, by the way. This is the Sentinel hero tree for like marksman hunters, because they press multi-shot so much. They get procs on this symphonic arsenal. It's so stupid. It's completely bugged. It's so stupid. Don't look at the hunter damage. Okay, we die a lot. We get a Zuko. Lots of deaths, yada yada. We try to move forward here. Let's just get to the final boss. We'll move forward here. La la la. There we go. Here's the final boss. This is Tred'ova. Tred'ova. She does a bunch of couple things. Good job, Zuko. She does lots of interesting things. She spawns some ads. She puts down these green puddles that are going to eventually start chasing you. The first time they come down, they don't chase you, but then she starts like learning about where your movements were on the boss fight, and she will start to, like, the green puddles will start to follow wherever you move, which is very cool. Mind Link puts a mind thing on one person, and then it links you to everybody else, and you all take damage until you break these lines by running away from each other. Now, with Rider of the Apocalypse, our Death's Advance gives us a really quick horsey, which is awesome. A long-lasting, quick horsey. And I think that this is one of the best talents in the whole tree, honestly. It gives us amazing mobility, so we can run away from these kinds of mechanics, which is awesome. And it allows us to just stay in the fight. And that's the biggest thing you want. Uptime. You want uptime on the boss with your auto attacks, especially with this build where it's both, you know, we're indexing a little higher into our auto attacks. There's the green puddles are following us now. See them moving. Very, very cool mechanic. Then she does this parasitic incapacitate that will mind control you. You have to kick this. This is the only kick in the entire fight. Very, very important. Only one DPS needs to handle this. And then you rinse and repeat those mechanics over and over again. Not sure how the tank died. Please don't take that right away. Please don't take that. I do res him, so we're good. I think I ended up tanking the boss for a little bit once again because Death Knight is completely broken and it's just whatever. And yeah, it's not a problem. Not a problem at all. This is a good little boss fight. Let's check our damage overall. We did about 366 on that boss fight right there. That's decent. It's a little low, I would say, for what I'm seeing on the beta. Remember, things are going to get tuned, but it's a little low for what I'm seeing. But again, we had to walk away from the boss a couple times. Let's look at the overall. So we did 550k overall almost. And then this is our breakdown. What I wanted to show you here was the actual horsemen and their damage. Trollbane's Ice Fury did 6.6% of my overall damage. High Lord Darian Mograin's damage was 4.6. So now we're at 11% of our damage. And then Undeath is an additional dot that you get. That's 4%. We're at 15% of my damage overall was just coming from my tree. That's not including the strength bonus I was getting. And it's not including the cleaving obliterates I was getting from the Death and Decay that they put down for me. So, like, it's really strong. It's really strong. Here's our Glacial Advance, the talent that we didn't even have to spec into. We just got the free procs of Glacial Advance by consuming Killing Machine. That's right there. Frost Fever, there's Trollbane. There's our Frost Strike, and our Frost Strike offhand is down here. So Frost Strike itself actually did 9.6% of our damage, okay? Our Obliterate actually did a lot as well. Sorry, Obliterate did 10 plus 5. So Obliterate, again, you have to count both weapons. 15% of our damage. Frost Strike ends up being 10% of our damage, right? Is that what I said? Offhand? Yeah, almost 10% of our damage there. 9.6. So those are pretty good. Those are actually pretty good. And then our melees are down here, 3.5%. That is pretty boosted. Usually your melees are like 1 to 2% of your damage max, 1.5%. Okay. And then we have our other procs that were happening down below. They're not doing a crazy amount of damage now, but I just want to mention that they actually scale with crit. So this proc right here, Icy Death Torrent, let me see how much damage it actually did. Let's scroll down. Oh yeah, I forgot. There's Trollbane down here again and Nazgrim again. I mean, this is insane. The amount of damage these guys do is insane. There we go. So our Frost Strike AoE is 1.6%. Icy Death Torrent is another 1.2%. So That's this talent down here. That doesn't sound very good, I know that, but remember, this is based on your auto attack critical strikes. So I have 20% crit right now. That's not very high, okay? Once you get to like 40% crit, it's going to be amazing, and you're going to start getting a lot of auto attack crits happening, and that's going to proc the icy thing a lot more often. It's also going to give you bigger shields. Permafrost was also a little bit bigger of a heal for us because we were auto attacking so much quicker than we normally do with our two-hander. Right, as you can see, anti-magic shield. There's our big frost shield. 12.6% of our healing on it was just from his shield, which is really good. So the bottom line is, I think this is a fantastic talent tree. I think that the Rider of the Apocalypse stuff is fantastic. I like this build. If you're thinking about Frost DK heading into the new expansion, I would highly encourage you to play it. It's performing very well. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. We'd love to hear from all of you down there. Thanks so much again for watching. I'll see you in the next one.